And welcome back to the special edition of Hannity. Now, Nevada is a powerful swing state that can make or break elections. So pollster Frank Luntz headed out to the Wynn Resort and Casino in Vegas to find out what Republican Nevada voters think about the primaries and much more. And he even managed to get Steve Wynn in on the conversation. Frank.
For most of this election cycle, Mitt Romney has been in first place, but at one point close to Rick Perry, at another point close to Herman Cain. First, give me a word or phrase to describe Mitt Romney.
I think he's consistent.
Capable.
Polished.
I was going to say polished.
Presidential.
I don't like him.
Consistent.
Not enough of a leader.
Rehearsed.
Slick.
Too slick.
Yeah.
Classy.
What advice for you all would you give to Mitt Romney over the coming weeks?
I would advise Mr. Romney to just keep doing the same thing and acting presidential and just, you know, I wouldn't change it.
What would you advise Romney?
I think it was too slick. When he said that he would not hire an illegal person knowingly. But then he also said, well, because I'm running for office. That's why I'm not, you know.
So you guys had a problem with that answer.
He's too slick.
What would you tell Romney?
My problem with Romney is I think he's just too clever. He has changed his positions on many things, and he is a moderate, and he comes from a tradition of moderation. And I just don't trust what he says.
One more. What would you tell Romney?
I just think he needs to really speak as a person to us and not so polished and just above a level that doesn't connect with the people.
But I want to make this clear to the people watching at home. If it came down to Mitt Romney and Rick Perry, and those were your only two choices, how many of you in this room would vote for Rick Perry? Raise your hands. And how many would vote for Mitt Romney? Raise your hands. I hope they're watching. The people in Washington talk a lot about business and what business needs. I'm standing next to one of the most successful business people of the last 50 years. Steve Wynn, I thank you for joining us in this conversation.
That was generous, Frank. Thank you.
I could have said a century. You have an expertise that most people don't have. What would you ask Steve Wynn, either about business or, if you allow us, politics, that might enlighten you and enlighten the audience?
I'm curious, given your stature in business, do you consider Mitt Romney a businessman or a politician?
Well, with the caveat that I might have some standing as a businessman, I have very little as an expert on politics. I think the governor, I thought about that, Lonnie. I think that pretty much at this point we can say that based upon the governor's performance, he's both. I think he's been successful as a governor and as a businessman, and I think that's sort of coming through in these debates where he's surely holding his own, along with Mitt Romney and the other fine candidates like Mrs. Bachmann and Mitt and Newt Gingrich, of course. I'm impressed. I think he's both.
What do you guys think of Herman Cain, positive or negative? Positive. Is Herman Cain qualified to be president?
Yes.
By a show of hands, how many of you would say he's qualified? He's never held elective office. Again, as someone from the business community, and you look at Herman Cain, any reactions?
Well, when people on the other side of this question, the Democratic sort of point of view, say that Herman Cain is completely inexperienced, I find that to be one of the funniest comments. How about the guy in the White House? Herman Cain at least ran something. Whatever happened to the idea that you needed to run one itsy-bitsy teeny thing before you tried to run the United States of America?
Agree with that?
Yes. With due respect to everybody else, I think that Henry Kissinger made a statement to someone that I know. Actually, I don't mind saying it. He made the statement to Christie that I've been around presidents for a long time, many of them. There are two things that make a great president: intelligence and character. If you're worried about foreign policy experience or any other technical thing, you will be well advised. You will be surrounded by experts and briefings because the world changes so rapidly anyway that the people you need to talk to are people who've spent their life studying Cuba, Mexico, Latin America, Asia. Hopefully you'll have enough brains to listen to people that know what they're talking about. But you'll get briefed, you'll get expert advice on specifics. But you better bring to the White House character and intelligence. That makes you a good president.
Don't be mad at me. If this guy were a candidate for president, how many of you here would support him? Look at this. It's almost unanimous.
That's because they don't know me.
He always has the last word. Back to you. Thank you, Steve Wynn.
Thanks.
And that is all the time we have for tonight. Thank you for being with us. And a big thank you to Frank and all of the voters who were brave enough to lay it all out on the line right in front of you. And I hope you have a great night.